Hi everyone. Today we'll continue our exploration of labour through the lens of interiority, the deep personal dimension of the human person. John Paul II develops this concept of interiority as a corrective both to abstract metaphysics and Marxist materialism. He threads the needle, as it were, between these two, emphasising the unique, incommunicable nature of each person. Now, while John Paul II is rooted in classical philosophy, viewing the person as an individual substance of rational nature, Wojtyła adds a personalistic touch. He says that each human being is unique, irrepeatable, and irreducible. Now, he draws from Richard of St. Victor, describing the person as an incommunicable existence of a spiritual nature. Now, this means the person cannot be reduced to a mere object or category. Each individual has an interior depth, a private inner space that is invisible and fundamentally their own. Wojtyła explored interiority in his plays, where he focused on what he calls the inner space, the hidden emotional and spiritual realities beneath outward appearances. He describes interiority as an imperceptible image that preys upon my soul, the invisible core that even the person themselves may not fully understand. In his play, in Radiation of Fatherhood, he probes the loneliness of Adam, a figure symbolic of our human condition, caught between self-realization and alienation. Adam feels lost in the crowd, fearful of losing himself in the transient mass of society. This interior self must be explored not from the outside, but from within. However, there's a caveat here, because Wojtyła warns us that interiority is not just a self-referential inward turn like modern introspection or Cartesian idealism. True interiority is rooted in the ontological self, the rational spiritual subject, and ultimately leads us to God. This is more akin to St. Augustine's understanding, where the journey inwards is also a journey towards another, towards relationship with God, rather than just self-certainty. John Paul II points to the book of Genesis, the original solitude of Adam, as revealing the interior dimension of humanity. When God creates the world, Adam is distinct from animals and incomplete, alone, pointing to the necessity of relationship, intersubjectivity for full human identity. The narrator says that it's not good that man is alone. Shame, for example, emerges as an interior tremor after the fall, a protective mechanism for the richness of the inner self. Now, this concept of interiority, rooted in scripture, rooted in the book of Genesis, also undergirds John Paul II's critique of Marxism and socialist realism, which treat people as objects or mere cogs in the state machine. He calls for voluntary action oriented to the good rather than towards revolution imposed by power. So, to conclude, interiority reveals the profound dignity of the human person, who is irreducible and more than their external conditions. This dignity is essential when reflecting on neighbour, not as alienation or exploitation, but as the expression of a unique interior self. In our next video, we'll explore how this interiority plays out in human action and labour. Thank you.